Silent night, I only have one wish for the shooting star.
I thought that because it's Christmas Eve, I would bake some cookies and tell you guys about all of the 5-star books that I read this year. 2022 isn't over yet, but in 2022, I rated 21 books 5 stars, and I read 108 so far, or 105 so far. I feel like that's a pretty good ratio. Last year, I read 100 books, and 27 of them were 5-star reads. And I feel like me having like 21, it's a little bit less than last year. I feel like my reading tastes have improved. I feel like I, as a reader, have grown. Do I even have 3 cups of flour? Let me see, hold on. This is what happens when I bake. I mess up and then I'm like, oh well. It's actually funny. Mariana Zapata, I had 3 books from Mariana Zapata out of the 21 that got 5 stars. And I think that says a lot about her as a writer. I love her books. I've never been disappointed with her books. They're all 4 or 5 stars. Like, I just love them. I think they're so well written. Culty, The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, and All Roads Lead Here. If I had to rank those 3, like 5 out of 5 stars, I feel like I would like All Roads Lead Here. That's like a 10 out of 5 in my opinion. I have this connection with Mariana Zapata characters, main female characters specifically. I feel like they are so powerful. You see from the beginning that they all start with some mental kind of problem or complex thing that they're trying to solve through their life by themselves, and then they meet someone and then they are able to solve together their problems, and it's amazing. It's slow burn. Her books are so dense. I love them. Those 3 all got 5 stars. I thought baking soda and baking powder were the same thing. Sorry, I cannot multitask, as you guys can see. When you guys are watching this, it's Christmas Eve, but Brock and I, my husband, are going back home to Virginia for Christmas, and we leave in 3 days. It's not Christmas Eve. Today is December 16th. Did I already put 4 in? Oh, okay. Tonight is technically Brock and I's like Christmas, because we're gonna open the presents that we got each other today. We don't wanna like travel with our gifts for each other, so we're opening our gifts now. So I'm making cookies for us tonight. That's the whole purpose of this. Okay. Another 5-star read this year was Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. I loved It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, the first book in this duology. Hook, Line, and Sinker is about Hannah and Fox. They're friends at first, and they kind of, you know, hang out, mingle. But the thing is that Fox has this complex with him that he thinks that every relationship he has with a female has to be something sexual. And he's like, man, I really like Hannah for who she is. Does she want to like get in my pants, or does she want to just be my friend? And he's never had that just friend on friend relationship with a girl. So he's having this tough time distinguishing like friendship and friends with benefits. Fox is just so tender, and he goes through something. He's a carefree flirt, but he's going through something, and he's just so sweet about it, and he's so confused. It's really smutty, and it's great. It's really well done though. It's really well done. It was really cute, okay? I cannot multitask, holy fuck. Okay, I need to focus. Focus. Another 5-star read that I had was The Score by Elle Kennedy. And this one was with Dean, and I thought that kind of like Fox in Hook, Line, and Sinker, in The Score, Dean was very misunderstood. He was the flirt, he was the one who slept with everyone, and the second he met someone who he was like, oh, I think I wanna like, just like get to know you, like be your friend, hang out, you know, we don't have to have sex all the time. He was misunderstood in a good way. Like, it was a cute hockey romance that was part of the Off-Campus series. I didn't love the Off-Campus series as a whole. I feel like all of the fan art for Off-Campus is beautiful. Like, I'm all for it. I actually do like Off-Campus, but this was the only 5-star read that I gave. And I thought that Dean and Allie were just a different level of cuteness and smut, and they were adorable. The conflict at the end kind of bothered me, but I liked the whole book in general, so that was it. The next 3 books are by Holly Jackson, the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. I fucking loved this trilogy. For a YA trilogy, blew my mind. I was shook by the end of the book because I did not see the plot twist coming. I thought that the characters in here were adorable. The writing was really well done. It was paced really, really well. All of the murder mysteries and mysteries that I read this year, like I only read like 7 or 8, but out of all of them, these were my favorite. Sweet and entertaining and wholesome because Pip is just like freaking adorable, and so is Robbie. And it was the only YA that I wasn't bothered by, and I think it was because Pip acted like an adult. So she didn't seem like a teenager. The next 5-star was House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This was the first book in the Crescent City series. I mean, it's 2 books right now, but Sarah J. Maas is probably gonna make it like a 15-book series knowing her, so. And it says soften, not melt, so I'm not gonna keep it in there very long. How do I know when butter is soft? Although I loved this book, the second book, I wish I could have given it 5 stars, but the second book was really all over the place, and I think the first book kind of foreshadows that it's gonna be all over the place. Like, so much happens in the first book that it's almost hard to remember what happens in the first versus what happens in the second. Like, there's no distinct like plot line in the first book that's leading to like a second plot line. Like, nothing is solved in the first one, but I loved it. Whereas the second book kind of leads to just more questions, and I thought that's kind of what it's doing. The next 5-star was The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, and I kind of want to do a whole video where I reread and re-rate books, because I don't know if The Fine Print is 5 stars, like looking back. Like, I enjoyed it in the moment, but I don't really remember a lot of it. Actually, I mean, I do, like, right? Am I remembering that wrong? Doesn't she get sick and he has to like take care of her, and that's like his moment where he like knows that he loves her or something? Or am I thinking that's a different book? See, I don't know if The Fine Print is 5 stars because I can't even remember what happened. The Fine Print is about our main man. His name Rowan? See, I don't even know his name. He is kind of trying to, his granddad passed away, and his granddad is leaving him Dreamland. And Dreamland is like the Disneyland of this world. And Zara is this creative employee at Dreamland. And, you know, they just start working together on this one specific project. He doesn't like her, he's grumpy. She's like all this bubbly, sunshiny kind of, you know, pixie dust and, you know. And they don't get along. They eventually, obviously, start banging. That's how most of these books go. So, but now looking back, I'm not sure if that would be 5 stars. I think I might do a whole video where I just like re-rate books, if anyone would be interested. Okay, Ready Player One. This one I wasn't even planning to read at all, like this year, or like in general, but it became available on Libby, and I listened to it, and I loved it. It was amazing. I still haven't seen the movie, but now that I've read the book, I really want to. I don't know if I want to read the second book. I know it's Ready Player 2. I don't know. If anyone's read that, let me know if it's worth it. It's a dystopian based off like virtual reality, and that's like the reality of this world is that people just live in their little VR headset things. And then there's this big game. There's like a game on this VR headset that no one in this world has been able to crack. Obviously our main character, he's been trying, and he's this, you know, teenage kid, and he goes on this journey, and he figures out some stuff about the world and about VR and about the game itself. It has this cool like 80s theme to it. I read Archer's Voice and gave it 5 out of 5 stars. My thing with this one, I loved Archer himself. I thought he was extremely sweet, could do no wrong, just a gentleman, an angel, so nice. And then the conflict came, and I had heard that I would like bawl my eyes out. I heard that I would be shook, like I would cry, it would be so sad. And yes, it was very sad, but I did not cry. I did not cry during this book. Even though that I loved Archer. Like, I loved him. Like, he was the main reason that I liked the book. Bree was okay. She was sweet, but like, Archer was it. Archer's why I was reading the book. And small town vibe, loved it. But the conflict, why didn't I cry? I'm still mad. Maybe I should reread it, see if I cry the second time, but like, I just didn't. I did not care, apparently. So the next 5-star was Every Summer After. This one's hard to like describe. It's second chance romance. It's small town. There's a lot going on, honestly, because the mother of these two brothers passed away. And our main character grew up with these two brothers at their lake house. She comes back. They've been separated for, we don't know why. Reason why they're not friends anymore and why it's a second chance romance kind of shocked me. I saw it coming, but I didn't think the author would actually do it. And she did it. And I was kind of grossed out, kind of mad. But I was like, that's what makes a good book. If a book can make me mad or cry or feel for like a character, it's a good book. I have a feeling these are not going to be good. Let's see. I need a bigger bowl. The next 5-star was Beartown. Oh my god, just thinking about Beartown makes me want to reread it and finish the series. So I haven't finished it. I know it's a series. I know the most recent book just came out. I still need to pick it up. But it is a hockey fiction. It's not a romance, it's just a contemporary fiction book. There are a lot of sensitive topics in Beartown, so if you're wanting to read it because I gave it 5 stars, look up the trigger warnings, please. This is literally my Goodreads review. Even with the sensitive topics, I feel like not everyone, most people should read this book. All right, let me clean up a little bit and then I will come back with the rest of the reviews. Okay, I did all of the mixing together and the chocolate chips are in there. So I'm gonna take off my rings and I'm gonna make the little cookie balls. Scarred by Emily McIntyre. Emily McIntyre, I've read 3 books from her. All of her books are fractured fairy tales. So they're like retellings of the classic fairy tales. Scarred specifically is about the Lion King. Our main character Tristan is kind of represents Scar, and him and Sarah, the main love interest, are trying to take over the king's reign. Like, they don't like who is king, so they're trying to take it over. I love Emily McIntyre's style of writing. It's so easy to read, quick, to the point, creative, and really smutty. Scarred just happened to be my favorite so far, and I know there's another one coming out, I think in January, and I'm very excited for that. 5 stars, Emily McIntyre. I've talked about this book. I've talked about Scarred so many times, so I'm not going to talk about it much more, but 5 out of 5 stars. I kind of regret giving this one 5 stars also. It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. It was very much the ending we needed for Atlas and Lily. Atlas is kind of like Archer in my head. He's very, very sweet, like the gentle, kind man, versus obviously Ryle was just not in the first book. It was the closure I needed for sure. I'm always rooting in books for the good guys. It Starts With Us was my good guy scenario, and I just loved it. After I read it, I was like, I needed it. So that's why I gave it 5 stars. I think it was definitely a mood read for me. I was in the mood to read it. Pretty, all right? I'm gonna put these in the oven. The next 2 books are from Jennifer L. Armentrout, A War of Two Queens and A Light in the Flame. Both of these I gave 5 stars. I am a sucker for Jennifer Armentrout. She is a little info dumpy, but I love that. I want all the info. I just don't want a lot of whimsically info. I want you to tell me how it is. These books were amazing individually. They're in 2 different series, but they're still connected, so it's like a sequel. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This is a new one that's like blowing up, or has blown up on Book Talk. The healthier version of Off Campus. Like, I think that the therapy element in this book was incredible. I think Hannah Grace did a good job of incorporating anxiety and panic attacks and making it seem really natural. It wasn't kind of like forced in by the author just to make a point. Like, she placed it in there. The main character is going to therapy. She's working through it all. Love interest. very accommodating and listens to her. Conflict actually was with a best friend, which I thought was also done really well. And the smut on top of it, great smut. So for a college romance, loved it. Only 2 more books. Jade Legacy. This one, you guys already know, Jade City was one of my top trilogies that I read this year. Like, I absolutely loved the Greenbone Saga. Jade Legacy, though, was the last book, so I think it just had this oomph to it because there was a lot of dramatic effect. There were multiple plot things going on with politics and the characters, and the characters made it for me. I'm a character-driven book kind of person. There were so many different, like, climaxes. It wasn't just, like, one big climax, it was multiple. There was a lot going on because it was spread out between like 20 years. So there was no like fluff. It was always like go, go, go. The last book, and I just read this one recently and it impressed me so much. I was terrified to read it. Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. We all know that Jay Kristoff apparently has some drama, and I've looked into it and I am appreciating his work. I think he's an amazing author. So it's about this half vampire, half man. He grew up killing vampires. Like, his job is like a vampire killer, okay? And he gets caught in the beginning of the book. We know he's in prison. In the beginning of the book, he's in prison. This vampire comes in and says, "Hi, I'm a historian for the queen, and you're gonna tell me everything about your life because my queen wants textbooks and wants history on these half-blooded vampire killers," okay? So we're taken through the prisoner, Gabriel, we're taken through his life and how he became a vampire killer and how he got to where he is in prison. We actually don't know why he's in prison yet. I'm guessing we find out in the second book, which I believe comes out next year. I liked the action that was in it, the action-packed scenes. It made me feel like I was in the story. So yeah. That was my last 5-star book. And the cookies are in the oven. I didn't even set a timer. Fuck. I'll just watch them. They look kind of good. Since that's it for all of my 5-star reads, I will be kind of time-lapsing Brock and I opening our presents together. So if you guys wanted to just stay for the time-lapse and the cozy vibes, please do. I'm so excited for 2023 and the 5-star reads that I will probably read next year. I hope that I have 5-star reads, but I also am appreciating the fact that my taste in books is growing and I am becoming a better critic of books. So I'm really enjoying reading. And if you celebrate, Merry Christmas Eve. So we opened the presents without me filming it. Say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and to all a good night.
Okay. Cute. Where's Debbie? Hey, say Merry Christmas. Oh, good boy. You're so pretty. I don't care. That raw cookie dough is not good for you. I'm gonna eat some anyway. Sorry, I love cookie dough. I just really like brown sugar. So